Television is talking about the discussion for adjustment to have a new exchange rate. Can you believe that, Mr. Frank? Every day they tell us they're going to give us a new exchange rate. You know why they're telling us they're going to give us a new exchange rate? They say since the auctions are stopping. Frank, tell Parliament to move over, the cash cow is coming to an end. It's coming, that's all there is to it. Iraq Stock Exchange ranks first in the Arab world in trading volume for November. Quote, trading volumes achieved a growth of 131.24% during November 2024 compared to the previous month, thus topping the Arab financial markets in terms of growth rates. My Iraqi contacts this morning are pretty upbeat. My contacts still think it could go at any moment and are prepared for it. Question: rumor is that the dinar has RV'd. Have you anything to say about those rumors? Caperoni, currencies of a country are not some lottery ticket. They represent a country, and if a currency is ever going to go up in value, it will be based on the success and economic growth of that country. Iraq is trying to rebuild their country and diversify their economy. Iraq has made a lot of progress over the years rebuilding, but still has a ways to go. If Iraq can create a market economy, and diversify away from oil, we may see some improvement in the value gradually as a result. But there is no significant RV like the gurus talk about. Sudden suspension of the dollar sale platform by the central bank will not affect local markets from the dollar exchange rate, but there are those who try to broadcast rumors that this step will change the exchange rate. A lot of these YouTubers claiming the exchange rate is going to be changed, it's not. There's nothing out there that indicates it. What you have is a lot of positive reforms taking place. Eventually the Iraqi dinar will delete the zeros, we'll get a new type of currency, and then you're going to see something happen to the exchange rate. But no, it's not going to happen before the end of the year. No, it's not going to happen at the first of the year. No, it's not going to happen in February or March. If we have the float coming, if we have the auctions stopping, if all the things Sudani and the CBI have been saying. Therefore the conclusion means that the lower notes have been put into position because the next step would expose them. Question: when the RV happens and the rates change, will the rates continue to go up, or is that it? Marx: I have been told repeatedly that rates will not fluctuate much at all. No more than 1 to 2%. So when people say they are going to hang on to the currency to ride the float, it may bite them in the butt. I was told there will be a small window to exchange, and if not exchanged by then, those bills will no longer be accepted. Dollar auction. What is the truth about stopping the central bank's platform for currency conversion? Quote, this platform will be stopped at the end of this year, according to what the bank officially announced. They changed the name to currency window as opposed to auction. That represents foreign currencies. Article: quote, this platform will be stopped at the end of this year. The dollar auctions as we know them are going bye-bye by the end of the year. That doesn't mean the 31st, it means coming at any time. Television is reshowing the speech of Sudani from the other day when he said citizens want something realistic and they are tired of promises. Frank, the fact they reshowed it is extremely important. Sudani is going out almost on a daily basis telling the Iraqi citizens, I got you. I told you I'm going to give you purchasing power. I got you. The dollar market is on one leg. A new mechanism and the exchange rate is threatened. They are just telling us that there is a process in place to change out the dinar to the lower denominations and effect the rate as part of this process without causing havoc. A higher, sudden RV, if not done appropriately, would cause havoc. There are many here in the US and all over the world that are expecting a value change with the end of the auctions. Not just people on the internet, but folks in government and the banking world as well. television saying Iraq is buying huge amounts of gold and it's to offset the ending of the dollar exchange auctions. An expected rise in the dollar, temporary shock awaits the Iraqi market. This is talking about the end of the auctions. One thing that will solve all their worries is an upward reinstatement or revaluation close or higher than the US dollar. Prime Minister, Iraq is a historical center of Christianity in the Middle East. Quote, Iraq is a historical center for Christianity in the Middle East, and that Christians have contributed for centuries to supporting Iraq's civilization, culture and development, and were builders of this country in various stages, adding that Iraq's identity that transcends sects and religions is our real goal, and this is clear through the cohesion and participation in various occasions, especially Christmas and what it represents as a symbol of unity and brotherhood. Iraq, the second largest oil producer in OPEC, intends to reduce the amount of gas it burns without economic benefit to about 20% during the next year, in an effort to meet the rising demand and reduce imports. Bloomberg quoted the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Oil for Gas Affairs, Ezit Saber Ismail, as saying that the state used about 67% of the gas extracted from oil fields by the end of 2024, and that new projects in the south of the country, including the Total project, will help raise that level, and the state intends to stop burning gas completely by the end of 2029 or early next year. The Middle Eastern country, along with Russia, Iran and the United States, is one of the world's largest gas-flaring nations, a process that wastes fuel instead of extracting it and using it in sectors such as power generation. Iraq was forced to resort to importing gas from neighboring Iran, a process that requires obtaining periodic exemptions from sanctions from Washington, and the current exemption expires next June, according to Ismail. The Iraqi Ministry of Oil, Siemens Energy and Schlumberger signed a memorandum of understanding to invest in treating and stopping the burning of gas from oil fields. Gas flaring has been a concern around the world for years, as the lack of infrastructure to transport the fuel has forced companies to burn off excess. While this is an environmental hazard, it is less severe than the alternative process called venting, in which methane emissions are released directly into the air. Ismail also pointed out that Iraq reduced gas flaring from 47% in 2021 to about 33% this year. Data from the World Bank's Global Gas Flaring Tracker report, released earlier this year, showed that the amount of gas flared remained largely stable over the 5 years ending in 2023. Iraq has failed to achieve its previous goals, which were to completely stop gas flaring by 2023. By the end of next year, Iraq plans to add projects that will consume 290 billion cubic feet per day of gas extracted from oil fields in the south of the country, including the Total project consuming 50 million cubic feet from the Artawi field, which will rise to 300 million cubic feet by 2027, according to Ismail. The Undersecretary added, with regard to the Artawi project alone, the volume of investments will amount to about $2 billion, and the integrated gas complex, which we describe as an accelerated investment, will be ready for operation by the